Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a little roundup of my top 15 albums from the month of April, and I hope you will discover something you enjoy from it. As always, there's a playlist in the description with my favorite track from each album, so with that out of the way, let's get going. 15, we have Cristina Vane with a delightful little collection of folk Americana songs. Christina has a gorgeous voice that you could listen to all day, and this album is a great choice if you're looking for some new, like, feel-good, sunny day sort of tunes. 14th, we have one of the biggest names in pop country, which is Eric Church. He released a double album this month called Heart and Soul, where Heart has some of the more passionate songs on it, and Soul is a bit more soulful. So most music critics will probably just ignore this one, but I feel it's a worthwhile inclusion because it is a huge country music release. 13th is Greta Van Fleet, and everyone labels these guys as like Led Zeppelin knockoffs, but honestly they're drawing inspiration from a whole lot of other classic rock groups as well. But anyway, this album, much like their first, is pretty garish, so if you found Josh's voice irritating the first time around, not much will have changed, but I don't really mind the theatrics or any of that sort of stuff, so I just find this to be a simple, enjoyable, though somewhat silly, classic rock revival album. 12th, we have Dropkick Murphys. They are the biggest name in pub rock, and they made some more pub rock. These songs are like literally engineered to be drinking music. They've like carefully kept the tempo in that golden zone where you can safely swing a pint glass while you sing the lyrics. 11th, we have Dry Cleaning. And this is some weird corner of post-punk, I'm pretty sure. The vocals are very monotonous, basically to the point of being spoken word. And in the background, there are always lively guitars going, which, maybe correlate to what happens in the vocals. So it's cooler than it sounds, though. It actually reminds me a lot of that Elastica album from the 90s. That was a big hit. 10th, we have Hail the Sun with some post-hardcore. But this really isn't like your average post-hardcore album you'd come across these days. The sound on this album derives very heavily from the late 90s, early 2000s style of post-hardcore. So bands like Glassjaw or, maybe even Chiodos. And in that regard, it's quite a refreshing little throwback, but it also doesn't just feel like a ripoff of acts from that era. It feels updated for 2021 and brings something a little new to the table. 9th, we have Floating Points, Pharaoh Standards, and the London Symphony Orchestra with a mixture of jazz, classical, and some light electronic components. And this is a beautiful and relaxing music experience. I think even if this sort of thing isn't really your shtick, you might still enjoy listening to this while you're trying to relax and, unwind for the day. 8th, we have Jeff Rosenstock with some ska. Jeff Rosenstock is one of the biggest punk acts on the planet, and he reworked his most recent album, No Dream, into a ska variant. So if you even remotely like ska, you should definitely check this out because it's just a great little celebration of the genre. 7th, we have Brockhampton, everyone's favorite hip-hop boy band. So this is a hugely popular act, a serious work in the genre, and it's just packed front to back with a whole lot of catchy songs. Now, if popular rap isn't your thing, then this probably won't really interest you, but this is one of the most listened to artists on the planet right now, and a huge release, so it's at least worth having on your radar. 6th is Sematary with some exceedingly noisy horrorcore. This is a super challenging and abrasive and just all-around inaccessible listen, but it's also a very innovative album in the extreme music space. So I actually really regret having not put this in my best metal of the month video. 5th, we have Amigo The Devil with some murderfolk. And the core of this album sonically is like outlaw country tinged folk music, but the lyrics could probably go pretty well in a like death metal album. So you end up with like sing-along country choruses that are about torturing people to death. And it's pretty grand. There's a sense of lightheartedness to the whole thing, and that, you know, keeps it from just being tacky. Fourth, we have Spirit of the Beehive with some electro psych. And this album simply feels like it's on unstable ground. It feels like there's not a single note played by any instrument that doesn't like bend out of tune, and it gives the whole album this like very trippy, wavy feeling, to the point where, like, I don't know, it feels like the sound waves themselves are inebriated. So it's psychedelic, but not really in a way I've ever seen an album try to be psychedelic before. Third, we have Moontype, and this is some noise rock that really understands the full playbook of the genre. So if you enjoy bands like Yuck, Cloud Nothings, or Speedy Ortiz, I think you will really enjoy this as well. And yeah, overall it was definitely my most listened to album of this month, and it's an excellent piece of indie rock. So yeah, I also have a full review on this one if you'd like to hear a little more. Second, we have Origami Angel. So Origami Angel had the biggest emo pop album of 2019, which basically became an instant classic, and their sophomore album is way more ambitious. It draws inspiration from every corner of emo pop's history, from like the, you know, indie Midwestern stuff to easycore and power pop and pop punk and just everything. It's also quite experimental as far as emo pop goes. They integrate some sounds from like bossa nova and also several other genres that are just unusual in the emo pop world. So yeah, this is seriously one of the most important acts in emo pop right now, and if you have ever cared about that genre, then this is an album that should be on your radar. And number one, our album of the month, is Porter Robinson with some electro house, synth pop sort of stuff. And of all the great music that came out this month, this is the album that just feels like it's on that next level. There's simply something transcendental about it. It's wholesome and nurturing and just all around heartwarming, but it's not a simple like happy album. It leaves the listener with a sense of fulfillment. Everything about this album, from like the friendly pianos to the emotive vocals and somewhat existential lyrics, leaves the listener with a sense of warmth. But it's not so much like the sun on your skin, though it is warm, but it's really more like that feeling you get when you finish a great novel. So yeah, I really just can't say enough positive things about this album. All right, that is all I've got for today. I'm not a music critic or any sort of authority. I'm just a guy who likes sharing music he enjoys with his viewers, and hopefully you'll find something you enjoy as well. So that's it. I'm done. Thanks for watching.